Hi everyone, it's Pamela Ferguson and welcome to Naked News. And it's not that kind of naked. Naked News is where we strip away all the preconceived notions about skincare and everything else in life. So today is one of those everything else in life days. But first I did want to mention my VIP club. All you have to do is text the words REAL PF to 51660, and then you can sign up for any sort of promos or specials or anything I have going on with my business. And I send texts maybe once a week at the most, maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, depending as well. So today I wanted to talk about the dreaded student loans. So many of you may have known, or I know I've been pretty open about this in the past, is that my husband went to in his 40s, he decided to change his career completely and go back to school and to get a medical, in the medical field. So we had, for our family of 5, we had 3 years with no income. The kids were very, very young. And so we came out of his schooling with $200,000 in debt. Should I say that number again? It's pretty staggering. $200,000 of debt. So because of that fact, I think I know a little bit about student loans. I think I know a little bit about how to get rid of them and what to do with them. And they're a bear. Let me tell you, I know firsthand. So the first thing you need to know, and some of this may seem obvious to some people, but to others it may not seem obvious. So we're going to kind of break it down, and if you know this already, that's great, and hopefully if not, you can learn something new. So the first thing you need to know is, first of all, when we had our loans, we had 21 student loans. It's weird. Why do we have so many? I thought that was strange at the time. But I guess every loan that you get per semester is only for, some of them may be ranging from smaller amounts, could be 3,000, maybe 6,000. I think ours were mostly around like the 6,000, but we had some as high as 13,000. If that's the case, but we had 21 loans, all different amounts and all different interest rates. So I am like a spreadsheet queen. So the first thing I did is I said, okay, let's organize these in some way. So I made a spreadsheet. I said, okay, here's the numbers, here's how much we owe, here's the interest rates on them. And that's the first thing I did. The next thing I did is I looked at all of the loans that had the highest interest rate. Why is that important? Because obviously you want to pay the least amount of interest you can. So I'm going to find out the ones that have the highest interest rate. So let's say I have, 5 of them that have the same interest rate. How do I know which ones to pay off first? If I have one who has 13,000 and one that has 3,000, which one of those should I pay first? Which one would you think? You might be wrong. I don't know. You might be right. I would pay the one with the highest interest rate and the lowest amount. Why do you want to do that? Because first of all, we know that you're going to have to pay the minimum on all of these loans. These 21 student loans, we had to pay the minimum regardless. And unfortunately, that happened to have been more than our mortgage back then. So, we had a lot of student loans. So what we did is that I chipped away month by month at that one that had the highest interest rate with the lowest amount. So that $3,000 you're going to be able to pay off much quicker than a $13,000, right? In my mind, it made me feel better if my spreadsheet got smaller. From 21, when I got rid of the first one, I was like, yes, now I only have 20 loans. And then I got rid of another one, yes, 19. To see that shrink, is a big confidence booster. It really makes you feel better about things. So you're gonna pay off the highest interest and the lowest amount. So, okay, so you're paying the minimum on everything. And then any extra money, it's kind of a joke, right? Any extra money. So it could be, if you're like, listen, I can barely pay the minimum on these loans, I don't know what to do. This video is not necessarily how to get extra money, but I'll mention a few things that you can do. So, you have to look at your lifestyle. Are you somebody who likes your daily Starbucks? Or are you somebody who likes to go out to eat? Kind of look at your lifestyle and figure out, okay, where can I make some cuts? Some cuts help. If you make one better decision per day financially, that's going to help you in the long run. So let's say we'll use the example of Starbucks coffee. I have to admit, I don't drink any coffee at all. I'm not a coffee drinker, so this is not a cut I could make. I think their coffees are like $5 a day. Let's just, for easy numbers, we'll say $5 a day. So instead of drinking coffee 5 days a week, how about you? Well, ideally, I would say, hey, buy a Keurig or a regular coffee maker. Might not be quite as good. I agree, might not be. And save that money. You have an initial outlay for the Keurig or whatever, $100, even less for some of the other ones that aren't Keurig brand. And just think about, you can make that back in like a week if you're a big coffee drinker. So you take that extra money, let's say we did $25 a week, right? So 4 weeks, you've just saved $100 if you completely went to another coffee maker. If that's too much, I get it. How about maybe doing it 2 times a week or 3 times a week, making cuts there. So $100 per month, you've got extra now. So you've paid your minimum on all of your payments, and that extra $100, I don't want you to split out amongst those, in our example, 21 student loans. Instead, I want you to take all of your extra money and put it directly to that loan. Your goal is to have a laser focus on that specific loan. Any extra money that you may have. Like your student loans are due once a month. Every time we got a paycheck, I took any extra that we had. Like I said, we didn't drink coffee, but what are some of the other things we gave up on? We didn't really go on vacation at all. We didn't take weekend trips. And a big one, we really didn't go out to eat. And I'm not saying never go out to eat. Of course, everything in moderation. But if you're someone who goes out to eat a lot, I would start out by cutting out one of those days and then maybe 2 of those days a week. And you're like, well, it's fast food. It's like $6. That adds up over time. Again, just like those lattes or those fancy coffees that you drink. If you can save, $6 a couple times a week, well, then think about what you could be paying down. Did we pay those 21 loans overnight? No. I would say it probably took us almost 5 years, but $200,000 in debt in 5 years. I was very, very, very pleased with those results. And again, what we did is we took that laser focus and we paid off that one with the highest interest rate, the lowest amount, and then we went to the next one. Again, it applies the same way. Highest interest rate, lowest amount. And eventually, it's still better to pay off a highest interest rate even if it's more money, because then you don't have a minimum payment. Every loan that you finish, that minimum payment every month, like if let's say we had a $3,000 one and your minimum payment was $100. I don't remember what our minimum payment's offhand, but guess what? Now you only have 20 loans and not 21. So you have the regular that your minimum payments, and then that $100 that you had earmarked for that payment, that monthly payment, no longer exists. So then you're going to take that amount and roll it into the next one. Same thing, when that's gone, that minimum payment's gone. So let's, for example, let's say our minimum payments were $2,000 a month. And then maybe when I pay off that first loan, our minimum payment's $1,900 a month. So in my mind, I'm still thinking that I have to pay the $2,000 a month. The only difference is it's going to a different place. So I'm still making that payment, except for now I'm focusing on a laser focus on whatever loan that is. And you will feel so great when you start to reduce that. And if you're like, there's no ways I can cut, there's nothing I can do. I mean, we could go on lots and lots of ideas about things that you can do, and, couponing and selling items and all sorts of things. But really, it's trying to live below what your current expenses are. And I would, if you're really struggling with finding extra money, a good way, it's kind of tedious, but it's helpful to see where you're spending your money, is to literally just write down everywhere you spend your money. And if you need to use like a debit card to do this, so you can, you don't have to literally write it down. You can see a statement and it's all listed. That's a good idea. But because you're thinking, well, I don't really spend a lot of money, but it's kind of like calories. These little snacks here and there add up. So those are things that you can do for that. But if you have questions about student loans and kind of how I kept focus and what to do, please reach out to me. But hopefully you have a great day. and maybe you learned something a little interesting today. So thanks for listening to Naked News, and we will see you next time.